Titled The Journey That Changed Everything. For most of his life, Daniel felt stuck. Every morning, he woke up to the same alarm, the same small room, and the same heavy feeling in his chest. He worked a job he didn't love, lived a life he didn't choose, and dreamed of places he had never seen. While scrolling through travel videos late at night, he often whispered to himself, one day maybe. But one day never came. Until one ordinary evening changed everything. One night after a long exhausting day, Daniel noticed something strange in his mailbox. It was an old envelope, slightly torn, with his name written in faded ink. There was no return address. Inside was a single postcard showing a cruise ship sailing across a golden ocean at sunset. On the back, only 4 words were written. Don't postpone your life. Daniel stared at the postcard for a long time. He didn't know who sent it. He didn't know why it found him. But something about it felt personal, like it was meant only for him. That night, he couldn't sleep. The next morning, for the first time in years, Daniel did something impulsive. He opened his laptop, searched for cruise trips, and booked the cheapest one he could afford. No luxury, no perfect plan, just a ticket away from the life he was used to. As the ship slowly left the port days later, Daniel stood on the deck watching the city fade into the distance. His heart was filled with fear and excitement. He realized something powerful. He wasn't running away. He was finally moving forward. The first few days felt strange. Daniel was surrounded by strangers laughing, exploring, living freely. At first, he kept to himself, observing quietly. But cruises have a way of bringing people together. One evening, he met an elderly man named Arthur while watching the ocean. Arthur had kind eyes and a calm voice. They talked about simple things: the sea, the food, the weather. Then Arthur said something unexpected. You know, I waited too long to travel. I spent most of my life saying later. Later is a dangerous word. That sentence stayed with Daniel. Over the next few days, Daniel explored new ports, tasted new food, and listened to stories from people he had just met. A young woman traveling solo after a heartbreak. A couple celebrating 40 years of marriage. A man who quit his job to see the world. Every story reminded him of something he had forgotten. Life is happening right now. One night, during a quiet moment on the deck, Daniel pulled out the postcard again. He finally understood its message. The problem was never time or money. The problem was fear. Fear of failure. Fear of judgment. Fear of change. On the last day of the cruise, Daniel felt different, lighter, stronger. Not because his life had magically changed, but because his mindset had. When the ship returned to port, Daniel didn't feel sad. He felt ready. Back home, he made small but meaningful changes. He started saving for future trips. He explored his own city with curiosity. He took chances he once avoided. And slowly, his life began to expand. Months later, Daniel received another postcard, this time from Arthur. It read, "Life rewards those who choose courage over comfort." Daniel smiled. He pinned the postcard to his wall. Not as decoration, but as a reminder. You don't need to escape your life. You need to start living it. And sometimes, all it takes is one journey to change everything.